apparently, I'm trying to find it. Apparently yesterday on YouTube, lots of people were commenting, and that has never happened before. Normally most of the comments are coming from TikTok. So I'm trying to work out how I can see the comments coming in from image overlay, dynamic text box, countdown, camera overlay. Good gosh. No, it's going to be in window, isn't it? There we go. Comments. So now I'll be able to see the comments from TikTok. From YouTube as well. Cool. Because there were like 20 comments from YouTube, which has not been the case. So over the last, I guess 6 months now, maybe more than that, we've been building up YouTube. I think, let's see where we're at now. 15,200. Pretty cool. We're adding 100 or so a day. So it's, well, I was going to say it's quite slow. It used to take weeks to add 100 subscribers, but it's slowly grinding its way up. So I think now that we're reaching some kind of critical mass over on YouTube, we are starting to see some results. Actually, I'll show you, because it's kind of cool to see the back end of YouTube. This is not part of the live, this is just quite interesting. So you can see on the analytics, yeah, we're at 15,236. I think we just passed 3 million views the other day. You can see. So if you can see on screen, YouTube is like this. It's extremely slow for a very long time. So you can see I was adding one a day, a couple a day, and then something happened in September and it just started to rocket up. So if you are doing YouTube, if you're doing any kind of social media, bear this in mind. You have no idea when you're going to get that break, but it will happen. And the same with TikTok. This is relevant because I've just started the AI Authority Accelerator. Starts today. If you have joined, I'm going to shoot a message into the group shortly. But on TikTok as well, I posted for about 6 to 8 months every single day, maybe 3 to 5 videos a day, just boom, 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 consistently. And then I had this one here, which is now at, let's see if I can pull up the analytics. I'm not sure if I can from here. It's now at 3.8 million views. So suddenly it just went, but there's basically no way to know which one it's going to be, for better or worse. What's that? Oh, okay, cool. Right, I'm going to hop into the actual live. 1 second. Now that we're live on YouTube, we're live everywhere. Cool, rock and roll. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 10th of February, and this is AI with Kyle. I'm going to be running through the latest AI news and updates of the day and taking audience questions live from TikTok, YouTube, X, and I think Instagram and some other places. It's all set up to go. And come and find you wherever you are, whatever social platform you're on. If you want to get the recordings, you can find them on YouTube afterwards. We tidy them up, clip them as well, so you can find the specific section. And the newsletter will have a written version, so you don't have to watch through the videos, but instead you can get the latest news. So make sure you signed up for that. If you do sign up for the newsletter, it's at aiwithkyle.com. You get a bunch of other things, about 8 free courses, 100 playbooks. Each of these is technically a course, but if I said you get 120 courses, that would be a bit overwhelming, and a bunch of tools, access to a community, etc, etc. That's all free. So if you go to aiwithkyle.com, you can join up there. So hopefully that is useful for you. Right, let's rock and roll into, don't know why I keep saying that, must be a rock and roll day, into the news today. So adverts, they are rolling out in ChatGPT, and OpenAI are doing a very, I'm not sure if it's clever, I don't know if it's optimistic, but what they're doing is they are putting forward the adverts as a really good thing. And this is actually good for you, and this is something that you're going to like, and this is good for everybody, and we're making the right decision, and you're going to love it, which is it's a very interesting take. I understand why they're doing it from a PR point of view, from a marketing point of view. Adding adverts into your service is never going to be popular, and you can tell from the comments. If I look down here, there's probably quite a lot of swearing at them. Nobody likes it. Nobody is happy to have adverts in. Why would you be? You just want to use the tool. You don't want to be advertised to. That's perfectly fine. But OpenAI need to do this because they need to generate revenue, and we'll talk about that in a moment. and how I actually think it's very fair. But the spin they're taking on it is, okay, we're going to tell everybody that this is actually good for them, and they're actually going to really like these adverts. They're going to love these adverts. These are the best adverts they've ever seen, which I think is a very brave spin. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but they've even done things like they put out a new podcast. So the podcast today, this week's podcast is all about ads. Asad Awan, one of the leads behind Ads at OpenAI, joins Andrew Main to share how he came up with our ad principles and how ads in ChatGPT, free and go tier, expand AI access to all. It's like, hey guys, it's cool. We've got ads now. Aren't you excited? Which I think is yeah, it's a take. I'm not sure if they're going to get away with it, but here's the actual news. We're starting to roll out tests for ads in ChatGPT today to a subset of free and go users in the US. Now, notice here they're still prevaricating. Instead of saying, hey guys, ads are the best, you're all going to get all the ads all the time and you're going to absolutely love them, they're saying, actually, we're starting to roll out, so that is couching the language here, we're starting to roll out a test, it's just a test, don't worry, for ads in ChatGPT to a subset, so not all of you, but a small number of you, of free and go users, so not all users, not paying, in the US, so again a subset. So this is all minimalization language, which kind of goes at odds to the other narrative that they're pushing, which is ads are fantastic and you're going to love them and it's going to allow us to expand free access to artificial intelligence. So I think internally inside of OpenAI, there's probably a bit of friction between the different people in the comms department and the marketing department, with some people saying, no, we need to stick to this narrative that this is fantastic and people are going to love our ads and it's going to allow us to give free access to artificial intelligence to all. This is for the benefit of humanity. There's that lot. And then there's people who write a line like this. We're starting to roll out tests for ads in ChatGPT today to a subset of free and go users in the US. That's sorry, we added adverts into ChatGPT. I know it sucks, but it's not going to be too bad. So slightly different messaging here. Ads do not influence ChatGPT's answers. Ads are labeled as sponsored and visually separate from the response. So this part, ads do not influence the answers. This is something they've been talking about for a while. This is also a response to the advert from Anthropic. So Anthropic put out a number of adverts, including one at the Super Bowl, where they're basically teasing ChatGPT, teasing OpenAI, and saying that it's going to ruin your experience because you'll be having a conversation, maybe a heartfelt conversation with ChatGPT, and then suddenly it's going to insert an advert that's going to be not going to be relevant for you. It's going to push something that you do not want. So I think Anthropic were being a bit cheeky, very cheeky. It was an extremely funny advert, and I highly recommend you go and watch it. But OpenAI pushing this line of, oh, no, it's not going to influence the answer. The answer will be separate, and then we'll show you an ad at the bottom which will be related, but it will not influence your decision. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Anthropic are saying. Obviously, they're using hyperbole to make a point and to make it funny. But there's no way you can add a little advert at the bottom without influencing the person's decision. In fact, that's why you're adding the advert into the response in the first place, because you do want to influence their decision. You might not influence the answer. The answer will be the same, but then you're adding something that says, oh, book this holiday, book this Norwegian cruise, or book this, or buy this enchilada kit, which is $15. That seems like a lot for an enchilada kit. So that is still influencing decision. That's influencing behavior, even if it's not influencing the answer. So again, I think this is slippery language they're using. The comms department have thought about all of this very carefully. But if we just spend a little moment thinking about it, it's like, of course it's going to influence us. It just won't influence the answer. Okay, that's fine. Ads are labeled as sponsored, cool, and visually separate from the response. Now, we've talked about this before. There's always going to be a tension between how much labeling and how much visual separation there is. Google, for years, have been kind of walking this tightrope between making sure the ads are very clearly labeled so they do not lose the trust of their users, because if you lose the trust, you die. People will flood off your platform. Yahoo is a really good example of this, because Yahoo started to do adverts inside of their searches, did not declare that they were adverts. Instead, you could just buy the top organic. When people found out about that, they were like, well, sod Yahoo, and they moved to Google. So that was a really big lesson for Google and other search engines. You have to label it, otherwise you're going to lose trust and people won't use your service. ChatGPT will do the same. However, You also want to, and this is the cynical part, you want to make them less visually separate and have less labeling so people are more likely to click, because your advertisers are, at the end of the day, they are buying these adverts because they want to sell product. So if you have adverts that maybe they look like an organic link, then, and people happen to click on it and buy, oh, well, maybe that's not the worst thing. Oh, they wanted to buy that anyway, that's fine, and our advertisers are happier, we're making money from the adverts, that's kind of fine. So there's always going to be this fine line between keeping the trust of the users and how much can we get away with for the benefit of the advertisers. Because remember, if you are using a service for free, you are not the customer. This is going to be the most important point here that I want to hammer home. If you are using something for free, if you're using Facebook for free, if you're using ChatGPT for free, if you are using Google for free, you are not the customer. You are the product. They are selling your attention. They are selling your clicks. They are selling your access to your data, access to your credit card. You, as a free user, are the customer. You are the product. The product that is sold to the actual customers, and the actual customers are the advertisers. So in the case of a company like Google, Google was primarily an advertising company. They just released their quarterly revenue, and it was something insane. Let's have a look. It was it 400 billion? The majority of that, 240, where is it? 400 billion. So 400 billion for the first ever time. The majority of that is advertising. They are an advertising company. Yes, they do tech, but primarily they make their money from advertising. So their customer are companies who pay for adverts. Exactly the same with ChatGPT. And if you are using the free plan, you are not their customer. You are product. Very, very, very important to recognize this. So they say our goal is to give everyone access to ChatGPT with 3 or fewer limits, while protecting the trust they place in it for important and personal tasks. So this is going to be the tension. This is going to be this high wire that they are going to need to balance on for the next couple of years, and it will be tricky. It will be really tricky because they are the first one to come in and add advertising. I do not envy their position, and best of luck for them. And I can see they're trying to make it sound like this is actually a great thing because it allows us to expand access. That doesn't matter for the individual who's using it on a daily basis. This is a beautiful message that, oh, we want to make sure that the world has, democratic, and it has free access to artificial intelligence so everybody can come along with the AI revolution. Awesome. Absolutely great. And I fully agree with that. The individual using it on a daily basis who gets served up adverts for an enchilada kit does not give a damn. They are not thinking of the other 1 billion users. They're thinking of oh God, it's giving me another stupid advert for something I don't want. They're thinking about their personal use. And the more they realize that they are the product, they're the one being sold, they're not the customer, the more likely they are to move to a competitor. So I 100% agree with this. And this is how you keep the lights on. You're going to start to charge revenue from your free users so that you can keep the company going and you can provide a free service in the way that Google does. Google is free for users to use because there is that social contract, there is that pact that, hey, you're going to use this as free and you're going to find it really helpful, but we are going to show you adverts. And that is the agreement that we have with Google search in particular. That's what they're telling us it's happening here, and that is absolutely fine, but don't tell us that we're going to love it. Don't tell us that as free users this is fantastic for us, because it's a little bit insulting, frankly. So best of luck to them. I do not envy them being the first people to add adverts, because now other companies like Google can come in later, a year or two later. There's no rush for Google, and add adverts, and people will already be used to it. Plus all the excesses, all of the kind of rough edges of advertising in AI can be smoothed out by OpenAI. They can make all the mistakes. Everything can blow up for them. All the embarrassing adverts, all of the kind of memes can come from ChatGPT, and then a couple of years later, Google will add them into Gemini or add them into AI search, etc. And people would be like, yeah, well, that's just the cost of using AI. So again, best of luck to OpenAI, but not a nice place to be. I'm going to hop over to some questions, and then I'm going to look at what we're looking at after. Codex. Oh, we'll look at Higgs field and AI.com. thehilariousai.com. Morning, Jesse. How are you? Sorry, just scrolling back through the comments. Unfortunately, TikTok gives me a comment for every single person who joins, which is annoying because right now the 200 people have joined. Let's keep going. So I get to see everybody joining, which is lovely, but it means it's very difficult for me. Is there a way for me to filter? There must be a way for me to filter this. There is. I'm going to do this live. Sorry. Show me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. Oh. So this is my fault. This is my fault for not looking at the options. There we go. I've changed my chat so I only see the messages. Oh. It's going to make it a lot more streamlined. I did see that. Somebody put something on my head. Awesome. Right. Let's have a look at... I can get rid of this. No, I can't get rid of that. Okay, fine. Let's have a look at... First, we'll have a look at Higgs field. So Higgs field is an AI image generation software, one of the very many out there. They've personally approached me. I will say this for full disclosure. They've personally approached me and asked if I wanted to do a sponsored post, offered to pay me to put out a sponsored post. I said no. I don't really do many sponsored posts, very, very few. Two, I only do sponsored posts for products I actually use, and I don't use Higgs field. And so for me, I'm not going to go out and tell people, hey, you should use this is great, when I don't use it. That's just not my style, basically. And there's so many other good products I do use I'd be happy to talk about. Three, I'm not that into AI images. I think that the best use, this is personal to me, so you can be different. The best use of artificial intelligence is for productivity, for building your own business, for being able to do things and build things that we weren't able to do before. And that's entirely my focus, is on building businesses, building products, marketing, etc., and using artificial intelligence to get into entrepreneurship in a way that was impossible 20 years ago when I first started my first businesses. I had to do absolutely everything myself back then because I didn't have money, I didn't have a team, and I didn't have co-founders. So I had to learn how to code, I had to learn how to set up e-commerce, I had to learn marketing, I had to learn customer service, I had to learn how to write sales copy, etc., all myself. Now we have AI, it can do so much of that stuff. So for me, that is my focus of artificial intelligence. It's for entrepreneurship and being able to start a business, generate income, and change your life. So for me, I'm not that interested in AI images, AI video, or AI music, the creative sector. I also think that most of the kind of main excesses of artificial intelligence, the negatives of generative AI specifically, are with things like images and video, because they are the most process intensive. They use the most amount of electricity. So if you are going to point at environmental issues in artificial intelligence, generative AI specifically, it's going to be more on the video front and more on the image front compared to text, which is relatively a lot less energy intensive. So there's a few reasons why for me generative AI video, generative AI imagery is of less interest. Nano Banana Pro being my main exception, because it can generate text in the images, which I find very useful for business purposes, being able to put together a presentation in minutes, being able to use it to teach, to educate, etc. I think that's a valid use. Higgs field, on the other hand, is primarily for, I mean, I'll call it what it is, slop. I'm not gonna get sponsored by them anyway. I've already said no to them. Higgs field yesterday lost their Twitter account. So Higgs field have been putting out a lot of, well, there's a couple of reasons why this has happened, but they have they've been suspended on Twitter for violating the X rules. Now, I'm not going to shed any tears for this personally, but I know a few people are unhappy about it. But even when you go onto like the Higgs field creator, I don't want to follow you. Here we go. Higgs field creator account, you can see all of these posts that have been reshared are all unavailable. They've been absolutely wiped off the face of Twitter. Very, very interesting. Couple of reasons why this seems to have happened. One, they were paying influencers, people like myself, content creators, they were paying for people to go and talk about Higgs field and to say, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to pull up a few. These people who are being reposted, these are people who have been paid, basically, to talk about it. A lot of these people were not disclosing that it was an advert. So here we go. I'm just going to pick on this guy for no particular reason, but he would put out a post like this. Sorry, James, I'm not picking on you. It's just happened to be here. I'm really impressed with Higgsfield 1 2.5 on Higgsfield AI, piano music generated with video. Posted this. This might have been a paid for post, but it's not been disclosed. So on social media, you're meant to say, hey, this is a paid partnership. And not doing so is, it's a bit icky, basically. So whenever you see these influencers talking about, oh my God, this is, this is groundbreaking, this is going to destroy Hollywood, this is going to, this is the end, etc. This is often, not always, but often a paid for post that is non-disclosed. So they got caught for that. They're not the only people doing it. There are many other AI companies doing this right now, and it's a bit gross. But they have been doing it egregiously and they got caught out. The other thing they were doing was they were advertising using likenesses. Let me see if I can find one of celebrities. So I saw one where they had a couple of the people from Stranger Things. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find them. Someone from Stranger Things and someone from Game of Thrones in like hot pants touching each other's bums. It's like, oh, okay, that's not great. So it's stealing likenesses, which is already a problem with image AI and video AI, and then using that in advertising to promote your product and sexualizing it at the same time. So stacking up egregious problems, basically. I'm not seeing anything particularly bad. Apparently there were some really horrendous ones that were bordering on pornographic but using celebrities. I'm not seeing any right now, but I heard that there were some that were extremely problematic. So all in all, I can see why this happened. The other thing that happened, let me see if I can find it. Apparently, they were doing these undisclosed adverts with influencers, with content creators, and then not paying them. So they were stiffing the content creators. So they'd pay them to post generative AI slop, sometimes slightly pornographic, sometimes using deepfake images of celebrities, all problematic. They were paying the content creators not to disclose that it was an advert, and then they weren't even paying them. They would remove the deal, or they would kind of disappear and they won't respond to emails. I'm in a group with a bunch of content creators, and I think a few have talked or worked with Higgsfield, and they said that, yeah, they're an absolute nightmare to deal with. So I think all around, it's a company that kind of got what they deserved. Here we go. In today's news of you get what you effing deserve, account suspended. Here we go. B. Higgsfield, raise 130 million in funding, build one of the best AI video generators, brag post about destroying creative jobs, bot the engagement on your post, mass DM hundreds of creators for content collabs, offer as little as $20 to $1,000 per content piece, ask for an email but message on X anyway, message the next day that the campaign is paused, resend the offer again, get suspended. Yeah, so they are a problematic company who has been knocked out of play by the looks of it. And I'm seeing a lot of damage control, like people posting this article, the attempted takedown of the 1.3 billion AI company by, I don't know who this is, Fake Out, so who's written a long article about basically defending them. And I saw Riley saying, I'd be willing to bet money that this is a paid post. So they're in full damage control. And yeah, I am okay if they do not make it through this. AI, there are some very good AI companies and there are some very bad AI companies, and there's very little to stop a company from being egregious and gross and using AI for terrible means. And the problem with that is it hurts the rest of the industry, the people who are doing good things with AI, because what people are going to see is the slop. They're going to see the deepfakes. They're going to see the engagement baiting, the kind of gross stuff, instead of the actual boring, valuable stuff going on behind the scenes. So one less company like Higgs, totally fine with that. Speaking of egregiousness, let's have a look at AI.com. I'm going to have a look at the comments first. Basically, they're setting up a blackmail ring using any personal data you put into AI. Massive push for dirty eyes. That's why Epstein got exposed. Hello, are you moving away from the UK? Yes, I am. I'm leaving the UK in a couple of months, I think, in April. Sorry, I sound very blasé about this. I've lived in Asia and America, and so like relocating isn't that big a deal. But yes, I'm leaving in April for a number of reasons. Right, let's talk about AI.com. Woo-wee! We just talked about Higgs, a bit of a dodgy AI company by, well, it looks like they're a bit dodgy. AI.com, I think, might be the next one. This is a company that released an advert at the Super Bowl. The advert apparently cost about $10 million, so they had some money. They own AI.com, a domain that cost 70 million to buy. And this is the site. So it's AI.com. You can claim your handle and launch your AI. Okay, that's fairly generic. And then we come down here. It's AI.com is on a mission to accelerate the arrival of AGI by building a decentralized network of autonomous self-improvement AI agents that perform real-world tasks for the good of humanity. Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. Then there's a weird gap here. Join now. Can I click on that? Oh, it does work. To claim your unique AI.com username. So that's it. And then I think that's overly large. They need to fire their web designer. So they paid 70 million for this domain. They paid 10 million for the Super Bowl advert, and people rushed en masse to AI.com to claim their handle. Now, I also had a look. I was like, oh, what is this? Is this a new is this Apple entering the arena? Is this who's got this? I clicked on this. You can sign up or log in. I'm not actually going to do it. I'll just show you what it shows you instead. So you'll connect your Google account. Is that the only way to do it? That is the only way to do it. I'm not going to do that. And it will immediately ask for your credit card because it says, oh, we want to verify that you are human. So give us your credit card. And it's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're asking me for my credit card. I don't know what this is. What am I signing up for? It's a mission to accelerate the arrival of AGI by building a decentralized network of autonomous self-improving AI agents. They managed to get every single AI buzzword into that. And decentralized, that's a bit of Web3 as well. So they've got all of the buzzwords in there. They just need a bit of metaverse, and then we get the bingo. So I didn't sign up for this. I saw a bunch of people did, and I was very skeptical. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to give your credit card? Okay, cool. It turns out that a few hours later, we found out that it's by the guy who set up crypto.com. So he's got really good domains. He's good at domain names, to be fair. So crypto guy with no AI background buys AI.com for £70 million, burns 10 million on a Super Bowl advert, slogan accelerating the arrival of AGI. Turns out it's just an open claw wrapper. We'll get back to that in a moment. Ask for your credit card details right away to claim a handle. Website looks like a cheap vibe coded mess. Agree. And then crashes instantly on Cloudflare with a 504 gateway. So it got overloaded by the looks of it. This looks like the absolute peak of the AI bubble. Now this happened yesterday or 2 days ago. I have noticed people aren't really talking about it that much. This has died off very quickly. Maybe we're going to hear more about this when all the credit card details get leaked or hacked. But this is a truly bizarre, and I agree, very bubbly activity. Hilariously, somebody bought AI.com for $9 back in 1996, and they held on to it and then just sold it for 70 million. So that person has done very, very, very well, and kudos to that person. But I do not know what is going on here. This does not help me. This is every single AI buzzword in one sentence. Giving your credit card to this seems like a terrible idea. And the whole thing is apparently built on Claudebot. in the background. So let's pull up Peter Steinberg. So the guy made Claude OpenClaw, because he commented on this the other day. He found out that it was a Claude bot or an OpenClaw wrapper, basically, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to think about this. Let's see if we can find him. Oh, here we go. I guess I'm flattered. So behind the scenes, apparently, because I haven't actually seen the product, is some kind of potentially, well, it's an agent built on Claudebot, which I think can trade for you. This is what I've seen. People saying that it can buy stocks and shares for you, and it can trade for you. Sounds pretty risky to me. Let's see if there's any other information, because I haven't been able to find very much. Is there even a terms and conditions? There is a terms and conditions. I think somebody found trading in here. Here we go. Oh. Nope. No. I'm not going to go through all of this. I mean, this to me looks like vaporware. This looks like it's going to be a huge problem when all of these credit card details get leaked en masse very shortly. So if you're thinking about signing up for this in order to claim your username, I would say don't. It just looks so obviously like a scam or a nightmare waiting to happen that staying away from this for a while, even if you can't claim your handle, seems like the best play right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be the future of artificial intelligence. I would be happy for that to be the case. I don't believe it will be. So I would say stay away for now. Don't touch it. Do not touch it. Genuinely though, has anyone seen anything about it in the last couple of days? Because I just have not. It just kind of died a death in a day or two. So this is yesterday. So this had 1 million views, only 400 comments, only 2,000 likes. That's boosted, I think. Even if you don't charge my credit card, why am I going to add it when I have no idea what the product is? Says Stephen Carter. Fair. Oh, you can't sign up with Google. Access blocked. AI.com's request does not comply with Google's policies. So the only way to sign up has been blocked now by Google. Yeah. So it looks like it's been blocked out by Google. Google literally blocking registration because of how scammy your flow is wild. Spend 70 million, you'd think you'd have a simply an easier onboarding experience. Looking at the comments, yeah. Okay, so you can't even register now because their Google auth has been blocked. Probably for the best. Good job, Google. Utterly bizarre, and it feels like peak bubble to me. It feels like this is going to be, unfortunately, it's going to again harm the industry and the people who are doing good work, the people who are releasing products like Codex 5.3, really good. Claude, Opus 4.6, really good. There are labs who are putting out really good products that allow us to build and create and do things that we can never do before. Then there's stuff like this, which is so patently obviously a scam or an absolute nothing burger, but people are falling for it and rushing into it because it's new and hot. And we need to stop falling for crap like this, because it's going to hurt the reputation of the whole industry, and the industry already has some reputational problems, so let's not make it worse with this kind of predatory crap, guys. Lyra just joined. What we're talking about, Maltbot? No, I wish we were talking about Maltbot. We're talking about AI.com, the very obviously scam site. Well, we'll see what it is. We have no idea what it is. I actually develop AI-based trading apps, and it's bloody hard work, not as easy as people say. Yeah. And the thing is, if we do crack trading with artificial intelligences, we'll probably have to restrict them from the market, or I imagine institutional traders will somehow restrict retail traders from using AI bots, because, I mean, if we have perfect AI trading bots who can always make the best trade, then the market becomes, well, we don't need it, basically. And the stock market would just be agents talking to each other and not necessarily with any excess profit to be made, because if we all have these perfect bots that can all do the same job, the market becomes so efficient that no additional profits can be taken from it, which It's good for the markets, bad for traders. Lyra says, I haven't heard about it. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry. It's scam o'clock, I think. Cool. Right. I'm going to finish up some questions. Oh, quick update on the UK AI skills website. So it's probably seen on social media. I got really annoyed with this website, which is kind of a crappy UK government website, costing £4.1 million. It doesn't have any course material itself. It just has links. So I can click on this and it will take me to a here we go, a Microsoft page, and then I can do the course there on Microsoft. That is fine. But it costs £4.1 million. They are hosting it on something called InVision, which is down here, InVision Community. So InVision costs, let me have a look, $89 a month, $150, $200 a month, not very much money. So let's say a couple of thousand a year, so 0.5% of the budget. So they didn't build it themselves. They didn't create the content themselves because it's just links. So my big question this week has been, well, what did you spend £4.1 million on? Thank you very much, because it looks like you just pissed it away. So I got annoyed with that and I started building my own one. So I have got more data. I've got all of the data of the courses they're recommending, but I'm enriching that data. So I'm going to have, well, I've already got more. They have 516. I now have 1,200 courses, and I'm getting more information out of those courses. So on the official one, they will just tell you if it's free or if it is, if it's free or if there's a fee payable, but it doesn't tell you how much it is. So it could be $100, it could be $30,000 for a degree. No way to know. So I've been pulling things like the price. So I now have the prices of a bunch of them. I'm pulling things like, does this count for CPD? Do you, like, what kind of certification can you get, etc. Is this actually from the UK? Because it's meant to be a UK AI hub. So is this specific to the UK or is this just a global? So I'm pulling in all of this information. I've also built, this is very basic because I have so much other things to do. This is a hobby project. I've also pulled in, I've made an actual AI that you can talk to, and it has access to the database plus all of the enriched data. So you can ask it, you can say, hey, I work in marketing, I want to learn how to use, image generation tools to help me create brochures or whatever. And it will, using the enriched data that I've gathered, it will give you a proper training pathway. So on the official site, when you, that's not it, what's it, AI Skills Hub, on the official site, you can make a pathway, but all it does is you answer a couple of questions. You say which industry you're in. Are you agriculture, transport, construction, creative, or none of the above? So we could do better with that. We can add in all of the industries. That's quite easy. Are you a worker, a leader, or professional? Oh, you can actually select more than one. That's weird. Okay. So let's say I'm an AI worker. And then you can give your experience level. Let's say I'm intermediate. And then what technology stack you're working on. That's fine. So let's say Google update. So the official pathway on the government website just gives you, oh, I've lost their image there, just gives you a bunch of random courses. They are filtered based on what you've given them, but it's not actually a pathway. So here it's kind of saying you need to get started with Google Cloud. So this one should be first, Introduction to Generative AI. So you start here, and then you might come to this one maybe. But then there's other categories down here. Is that the same one or just the same picture? Google AI Essential Specialization. Oh no, just the same picture. So it's not clear which ones you're meant to look at these pictures. They've only bought. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at them. This picture is the same as this picture, which is the same as this picture. These two pictures are identical and they're next to each other. They've only bought like 10. There we go, it's the same lady. They've only bought 10 like Shutterstock images and they're using them. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be mean to them, but they spent £4 million of taxpayers' money. So this pathway itself is not very helpful because it doesn't actually give me a pathway. It's a filtered list from their database saying, hey, these are the ones that are relevant to your stack, to your level, to your persona, and to your industry. That's nothing. This is like 30 different courses it's telling me to take. And it always puts this one in. This is weird. There's always this random agriculture and food one that just slips in. Returning to STEM. That's not even agriculture and food related. Okay, I'm not going to start because I will get annoyed because it is terrible. So what I've done is create a proper AI that can listen to what you want to do, and it can help generate a pathway. I'm still refining that, obviously, but I will continue to work on that. But I'm building it in my own time because I got so annoyed with how terrible this is. What I will do, once I've got the basics here, is I will then replicate that and do other countries. So I'd like to do America, I'd like to do, I don't know, Singapore, I'd like to do France, Spain, etc. And then just replicate this into different places. Or maybe we do an EU one, for example. But instead of each of these individual countries spending 4 million, I'm just going to go ahead and create local versions. I say me, AI is going to help me do it. But yeah, follow me on social media if you want to see more angry videos of me dumping on their website, because it has totally pissed me off. What's your process for cloning sites? You just screenshotting every page? No, I built a little, was it JavaScript? I can't remember what it was. A little script which I stuck into Chrome. So I'll show you what it looks like. So this is my website. You can go into inspect, you can go into console, and then you can add stuff in here. So you copy and paste a script in here, and it will go and grab pages for you if you want to scrape, or you can do it using something like Playwright. So is it Codex? Yeah, Codex says Playwright. Oh, you won't be able to see it because it's an app, so it won't come up on my screen. In the Codex app, you can install the skill Playwright, and that will be able to go and visit browsers from the terminal and get the information it needs. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. You can also get, is it ChatGPT? No, which one? You can also go and like screenshot every single page and then put it. Oh, speaking of which, this is something that I learned that I didn't know. If you go into console on Chrome and you press Command Shift P, it brings up this command thing. You can type screenshot or screen, and look, there you go. Capture area screenshot, capture full size screenshot. I did not realize you could do this inside of Chrome. So you can grab screenshots. So basically what I'm doing with my scraper is going on and grabbing full size screenshots from every page, or grabbing the HTML. But it depends how much crap is in the HTML, because sometimes it's going to clog up the context. So there's lots of different ways to do it. With these tasks, so just ask an AI if you don't know how to do it. Say, hey, I want to get some information from this page. How do I do that? And it will help you. Has anyone reached out? Yes, I've had a couple of people from the government reach out. I won't be mean, but a few people from the government and civil service have reached out in the UK for me to come and talk to them. Someone from the Cabinet Office, somebody from some civil service department, I forget what it was. They, I hope they're not watching this. If they are, it's fine. They have said, oh, those guys are so wasteful, we're much better, we'd like to talk to you. Maybe. Prove it to me, though. I worry that all of the departments are being equally wasteful and pissing away money. This one in particular is highly wasteful because the money went to PwC. So they gave, here we go, this is third-party site delivered by PricewaterhouseCoopers on behalf of Innovate UK Bridge AI programme. So £4 million was given to PwC. PwC went out and immediately gave a couple of thousand, not much, to Envision Community to build the site. So PwC did not build the site. And then they have done a bit of research, probably got some interns to do it. They didn't do it very well because, look, again, I don't want to get annoyed, but you'd think the biggest employer in the UK is the NHS, right? You think they'd probably have the NHS's training materials here, right? Put in the NHS, nope, nothing. Put in civil service, because the civil service have also provided really, really useful training materials. Nope, just not there. So they haven't even bothered to get existing resources that their own government or their own public departments have made. So I don't know where the money was gone. Well, I do. Went to PwC and they pissed it away. Hit them with it will cost you 4.2 million. Yeah, I don't want to do government work. I'm just, I mean, for 4 million maybe. I'm just not interested in the. I'd prefer to just be building stuff and releasing it. So when this is all done, I will just release it freely and make it nice and easy to use. I won't require an email. I just want other people to have access to the information so they can get onto training pathways, so they can learn what to do, so they know where they get CPD, so they know how to get involved with artificial intelligence. I don't think it should be behind an email. Plus it needs to be done a lot better. Anyway, don't get me started because I will continue talking about this because I get very, very annoyed about it. Somebody on YouTube, Joji, saying ask for 4.1 million to redo the AI page. Yeah, no, I'm just going to redo it for free and get it out to the public because I think it could be useful, but right now it's not. Awesome. So if you want to get a summary of what was covered on today's in today's live, so a written summary, it's going to be in the newsletter tomorrow. You can join at aiwithkyle.com, join the community here, and you get access to a bunch like 120 courses, I think it is. The newsletter, a community, a whole bunch more, and that's all free. So come along and join. And we're getting a couple of hundred people joining up 100 people joining every single day, which is awesome. Love to see it. And my kind of mission is to get 1 million people ready for artificial intelligence. And this is how I'm doing it, by giving away this stuff for free, including a 5-day AI readiness course, basically helping you orientate yourself and work out what you should be doing with AI, where your knowledge level is right now and how to increase that moving forward. So that is all available for free at aiwithkyle.com. Fantastic. I am going to finish up the live and I will see you guys tomorrow.